Well, hello, good morning. It's early today. I'm so sorry about missing out last week. I was painting the house and then I threw my back out and couldn't move off the couch. So, this week we're going to play catch up and I'm going to try to do a video every day this week. Today's video is shepherd's pie. Quick and easy, and I got started without you. I know, I'm sorry. This is about 1.5 pounds of ground chuck. Try to avoid plain ground beef. I use ground chuck or ground sirloin, depending on what I'm doing with it. Better taste, less fat. You don't have to drain it off. So I just put it in the skillet, and I've got it browned. I've got my oven preheated to 365. Turn that way. Okay. So brown off your hamburger meat. Move that. Brown off your hamburger meat. Now we're going to season it up. We're going to put a little salt, a little black pepper. This is shepherd's pie. Now traditional Irish shepherd's pie would be made with lamb, ground lamb. Not everybody likes lamb, and lamb's expensive. Ground beef works just as well. And to that we're going to add some malt vinegar. This is what gives it that good Irish taste. You can also add Worcestershire sauce. I normally would, but I don't have any. I know. I forgot. We're going to put about a forkful of garlic in there, minced garlic. And we're going to chop up some onions. You ever end up with all these little half pieces of onions? Dishes like this are the best way to use them up. And I'm just going to rough chop them. They don't have to be pretty or perfect. We'll turn this up a little bit. And really, this doesn't have to go in the oven. I put it in the oven just to brown the potato crust, because your crust is going to be mashed potatoes. Tomorrow, I hope y'all can swing by tomorrow, because tomorrow I'm going to be making a chicken poblano lasagna. I'm going to do that tomorrow morning before I go in. And then, that's Wednesday. Thursday, I'm going to be doing some baked, quick, it may be a skillet top. It may be baked. I don't know. It depends on how I feel. A quick 4-ingredient pasta meal. Perfect for a weeknight meal. This is too. Because this can be made ahead and then just popped in the oven at the last minute for about 10 minutes to brown the... Okay, so let's get those onions and garlic cooking in there a little bit. Shepherd's pie is just that. It was originally made by the Irish shepherds. It's peasant food. It was something that they could carry with them when they're out in the moors with their flocks. I don't know where you live, but guess what? We had a cold front come through. Oh, it finally feels like fall. Only in central, here in South Central Texas, here's our seasons. We have about 2, sometimes 3 weeks of fall. We have about a month to a month and a half of winter. We have about a week to 2 weeks of spring, and then the rest is all summer. We're all summer here. When you have your bonfire on Halloween and it's 100 degrees outside, that don't help much. Alright. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, we're going to put it in a ketchup. That's right, plain old ketchup. If you don't want to use ketchup, use tomato paste. Ketchup's quicker and easier, and everybody's got ketchup. I ain't ever been to a house yet that didn't have ketchup in it. Particularly if there's kids around. you don't want a sauce. See how it's just barely coating the meat? That's what you want. You want it to just barely be coating the meat. And you don't want it just fine crumbles. See how we have big chunks of meat? That's what you want. You don't want it just a fine crumble like, say, for tacos. That's not what we're looking for. I'm going to add a little bit more malt vinegar. Shoot fire. Well, how about that? That was a big giant oops. Well, it's going to be really malty, honey. Oh yeah, it's malty now. Woo! The little squirt cap got stuck in the big cap. Good night, nurse. Oh well, happy accidents. Life is full of happy accidents. You just make it better. So because I did that, now we're going to add more ketchup to balance the acid from the vinegar. Anytime you're doing any kind of English, Scottish, or British, Irish cooking, you should always have malt vinegar. Malt vinegar is also real good with fish. If you don't have malt vinegar, that's okay. You could use red wine vinegar. Won't get the same taste, but or no vinegar. Just use Worcestershire. All right, this is a bag of frozen peas and carrots that I thawed out. And by thawing it out, what I mean is instead of putting it in the freezer overnight, when I brought it home, I just put it in the refrigerator. All right. So that's 1.5 pounds of ground chuck or ground beef or ground sirloin or whatever your fancy is, ground lamb. About 1/2 an onion, rough chopped, salt, pepper, malt vinegar, and ketchup. And this essentially is our pie. That's our pie. All right? That's going to be our pie. Now let's make the crust. Now we're going to make a mashed potato. We're going to make a mashed potato crust, but it's not mashed potatoes like you would normally make with milk and butter and you have to whip them and all that kind of stuff. No, this is just going to be mashed up potatoes and butter. Now, I don't have time to boil potatoes. I'm so tired. You don't have to. Poke holes all in them and put them in the microwave for about 8 minutes and look at there. They're soft and mashable. And if you use new potatoes are the ones with the red skin. If you use new potatoes or you use the Yukon Golds or the Butter Golds, those you don't have to peel. Russets are the only potatoes that you should ever really peel. You don't have to peel those either, but... And I'm just going to mash them up a little bit, roughly mash them. They're not going to be smooth, they're going to be chunky, but that's what we want. And I'm not going to add milk to it either. I am, though, going to add some butter. Makes them easier to mash when they've got butter in them. And they taste better, creamier, smoother. If you cut your butter up into little pieces, it'll melt quicker too. Just saying. This whole thing from start to finish should take you no more than 15 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. And it should be really cheap. I got the hamburger meat, or the ground chuck, not hamburger meat, don't correct me. And that's salted butter that I'm using, so I'm not going to add any salt to it. And this is just 4 fairly large red potatoes, skin and all. Skin and all. Get off of there. Get out of there. Come on. Take one for the team. Take one for the team. Come on, you're going in the pot. So, shut up. Just get in there. That's the skins. That's alright. Get in there. Don't leave anyone behind. Well, a few skins aren't going to kill us. Alright. Wusses. Okay, so I'm going to shut this off. And I'm going to kind of level it out. Make a leveling out of it. And then we're going to put the potatoes right on top. Now you don't have, if you don't have a skillet like this, a pot, like this, you can use a casserole dish to do it in. Something that make it easy on yourself. Put it in a dish that goes from stovetop to oven. So you only have one dirty pan. And you're just going to kind of spread it out over the top. It's not going to be thick. It's not going to be creamy. You don't want that. You want just a rough chop of potatoes over it. And if you wanted to, you could cut up some chives and put over the top. But even better than that is some cheese. How about we put a little sharp cheddar over there? Just a little bit. You don't want to cover it up. You just want a little to melt into the potatoes. There you go. And by putting the cheddar on the top, when we stick this in the oven, you'll know when it's ready because it's ready as soon as the cheese is melted. And again, you don't have to do this in the oven. You can do this on the stovetop. Just put a lid over this, and it's done. But you won't really get a crust bite to the potatoes to it. I do it because I like a little crunch on the top of the potatoes. Alright. And that's going to go in for a few minutes. And we're done. Now, how quick was that? Take a pan that can go from the skillet, from the stovetop into the oven. So you use one pan. You're going to brown off about 1.5 pounds or 2 pounds of ground beef, ground chuck, ground sirloin. If you use ground beef, make sure you drain the grease off of it because that has a lot of grease, a lot of fat filler in it, and that's why I don't like it, and no taste. Then you're going to put in about 1/2 rough chopped onion and some garlic. Garlic powder, minced garlic, whatever you got. A couple of splashes of malt vinegar or Worcestershire. And a couple of blocks of ketchup. Mix all that in. Add a bag of frozen peas and carrots that you let sit in the refrigerator overnight. I took 4 big potatoes, put them in the microwave till they were mushy, mashed them up. That in the microwave it takes about 6 minutes total for the 4 potatoes. Mashed them up, added a little butter, put those on top, put a little cheese on top of that. You're done. Tomorrow is going to be a quick and easy chicken poblano lasagna. Super easy. Don't be intimidated by the word lasagna or chicken because we're going to be using a rotisserie chicken to make it. So it makes your life even easier, and there's only a few ingredients. We're going to be doing some Italian tortellini in honor of Columbus Day. And yes, it is Columbus Day. It's not Indigenous People Day, but that's a whole nother story. We don't talk politics here. And to be fair, Columbus didn't discover America either. The Vikings actually did. It should be Viking Day. Because they were here about 500 years before Columbus. And there's settlements in Newfoundland off the coast of Canada and in Canada that go back to like 200 BC that were Vikings. So they're actually the original people here, besides the indigenous people. Anyway, there's your history lesson for today. And then Friday, we're going to be making a shortcut almond joy cake for me to take to work on Saturday. If you're planting your garden right now, you should be pulling sweet potatoes. They should be harvesting. You should be harvesting your sweet potatoes, getting the last of your peppers in. Your fall tomatoes should be starting to turn right now if you planted them. And you should have your garlic in the ground, and you should have your shallots and onion seed in the ground. And it's still too warm for your broccolis, your kales, your cauliflowers, your cabbages. I know you traditionally would plant them this time of year, but if you live in this part of the country, remember where we're at. We've been in the 90s. The soil temperature needs to be below 74. 2 things are going to happen if you plant your starts now. 1, they're going to bolt, which means they go to bloom, and then they're no good. Or 2, if they don't bolt, they'll button. And what that means is instead of getting a head of cabbage this big, you'll get a head of cabbage that big. Instead of getting a head of cauliflower this big, you'll get a head of this big. Instead of getting broccoli like that, you'll get it like that. That's called buttoning. And that happens because the ground is too warm. The ground temperature needs to be below 74 before you plant any of those. That means we need to have a serious hard freeze before you plant. I'm saying. I'm holding off because right now I would usually have them in the ground because I usually do my first harvesting of broccoli at Thanksgiving, and that's not going to happen this year. I'm not going to have fresh broccoli for Thanksgiving. Spinaches and lettuces, it needs to be burr cold before you plant your spinach seed because they like they like cold feet. Now I have a neighbor who has already got his in the ground, his broccoli, cauliflower, and cabbage starts. And you know what he's been, and this is expensive, but every day he goes and buys like $10 worth of bagged ice and pours out on his rows in the afternoon to try to keep them cooled down. And I hate to tell him, but that ain't going to work because the ground temperature where the roots are low is still hot. So, anyway, everybody's got their own school of gardening. That's fine. And we're done. That's right, I was just killing time talking to you about gardening because I was killing time. And you're done. There it is. Shepherd's pie in under 15 minutes. Hope y'all enjoyed that. If you hit like, subscribe, and share below, come back. I hope y'all can come have time tomorrow morning to stop over because, like I said, we're doing a chicken poblano lasagna, which is mwah. And then it's so super easy. You're going to be surprised at how easy this is. And then again on Thursday, we're going to be doing some tortellini. We're going to do tortellini carbonara, which is pasta and bacon. That's what I said was bacon. And then, like I said, Friday we're going to do a cake. And then next week is going to be all about spooky treats and spooky food. Getting ready for Halloween. And then, just looking ahead, after that is when every week will be dedicated to Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving sides, Thanksgiving desserts, how to make dressing. We're going to do a whole show on just dressing because people do not know how to make real dressing. And if you do it the way I teach you, it'll be the best old-fashioned granny's dressing you will ever eat. You'll never buy that box crap again. All right? Y'all have a good afternoon. If you live in this area, get out and enjoy the cool temperatures. Otherwise, I'll see y'all in the morning. Bye now.